Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. So, a candidate running for the Senate seat in Pennsylvania wants to abolish the death sentence for first-degree and second-degree convicted criminals. You heard that right. He wants to abolish that particular punishment for first and second-degree criminals. Now, second degree, you could probably say, but first degree, he wants to abolish the death sentence. So you're going to find out why. So let's get right into this article. It's a pretty short article. Let's get right into this, and we're going to analyze this. So the article says, Pennsylvania Governor John Fetterman, running against Dr. Oz for the state's open United States Senate seat, has said that his top priority is ending life sentence without the possibility of parole for convicted criminals. You heard that right, folks. But let's see what he has to say. During an interview with Jason Flom on the Righteous Convictions podcast in November 2021, so this is a while back, but it's worthy to talk about this right now. Fetterman named ending life without parole for convicted criminals as his priority above all other issues facing Pennsylvanians. And that's odd, right? Because are you saying here, Mr. Fetterman, that this is what's really, this is one of the major issues of many people that live in Pennsylvania? You need to end the death penalty for these murderers. And so if you need to end is that really what they want? Is that really what they feel? I highly doubt that. But let's go on. The interview went as follows. And this is the interviewer. If you had a magic wand and you could wave it and fix one thing, what would it be? Fetterman's response was, life without parole in Pennsylvania. We could save billions in revenue in long term. So we see right here that this has to do with money, right? We could save thousands of lives and not make anyone less safe. This is a very, very crazy situation here, man. I mean, this is crazy. And also, it expunges many permanent records of people that have been living their best lives. What exactly does that mean, living their best lives? What does he mean by that? People in prison that are, keeping out of trouble. You murdered someone, but you figured if you behave yourself in prison, you can get out. Is that justice? Well, let's go on and see what he has to say. And have been paying well beyond when they should have for what they should have for a charge that they caught 10, 15, 20 years ago. I have to disagree with this brother right here, man. The remarks comes as Fetterman's jailbreak initiatives have come to light as he faces Oz in the state's highly contested Senate race. Oz, that's a strange name. When I saw that name Oz, I couldn't help but think Wizard of Oz, Fetterman, as Breitbart News reported, has overseen the release of 13 convicted murderers. Get this now, let me read this again. Fetterman, as Breitbart News reported, has overseen the release of 13 convicted murderers while heading the Pennsylvania Board of Pardons. Likewise, one of Fetterman's appointees to the board sought to end mandatory life without parole sentences for first and second degree murderers. You heard what he said right there. I didn't say it. That's what the article says the issue is. Article goes on to say, in 2021, Fetterman advocated for eliminating the state's mandatory life without parole sentence for suspects convicted of second degree murder. And these are his words. It is not just justice for most of these people to be serving the same sentence as the Tree of Life shooter who murdered 11 people in their synagogue. Fetterman said of ending mandatory life without parole sentences. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make us any safer, and it isn't what justice would ask of us. This is really, really crazy, but I'm going to end the article right there. You can read the rest of the article in your own free time. You can go into the description box below and read the rest of what he had to say. But clearly, this is a liberal. Liberals have this mindset, without going into too much detail, because I've said this in previous videos. Liberals have this mindset particularly liberal politicians and liberal intelligentsia, have this mindset that criminals and people that do bad things are victims of their circumstances. And that if their circumstances have caused them, external circumstances have caused them or pushed them into crime and all these negative, bad things that they're doing. And it basically is not their fault. They're not actually individually responsible for what they do. That if you change your circumstances, there will be much better people. The problem with that philosophy is screwed, because history shows time and time and time again, you have people that have some of the best of circumstances commit some of the most atrocious crimes. And besides, that philosophy is not accurate at all, because you have many, many people who have been raised in the most adverse of circumstances choose the best course in life. They may have someone that encourages them and motivates them to make the best decisions, but a lot of times that's not always the case. And yet these people choose not to go the wrong way. They choose not to become murderers. They choose not to become criminals. They choose to educate themselves and bring themselves up to a level of prosperity and intellectual processes that not only helps them, but helps other people. So is that an excuse? No, it's not. In my view, it's not an excuse. We all have a free will. We can choose either to do right or we can choose to do wrong, particularly when we are adults. Now, when we're children, that's different. It's different because you don't know no better. But when you become an adult, you got to put away childish things, like the Apostle Paul said in the book of 1 Corinthians. Paul said in the book of 1 Corinthians in the Bible, yes, he says, when I was a child, I thought like a child, I acted like a child, I spoke like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. It comes a point in a person's life when they become an adult that their minds are cognitive enough to be able to say, okay, this is right and this is wrong. And no one has to necessarily tell you that. See, what a lot of these criminals and people do, they use that as an excuse. Well, I didn't have a father growing up. I didn't have a mother growing up, so I was just doing these things. And maybe sometimes in some instances that can be true. But for the most part, when you become an adult, your mind and your conscience is telling you this is not the right way to go. But because you're so accustomed to it, you go against what your conscience is telling you. This is not right. And you do it anyway. But you're mature enough to know you shouldn't be doing it. You're mature enough to know you shouldn't be robbing that person. You're mature enough to know you shouldn't be killing somebody to get their goods. Liberals, because they believe in moral relativism, they promote and advocate for this kind of mentality, that there's no absolute right and wrong for the liberals. And so therefore, this is meaningless to them. It's no big deal for them. Release these first degree. They said first degree murderers. I can kind of see the second degree situation, but first degree murderers? First degree means you plan to do this. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an error. It wasn't a crime of passion. You plan to take this person's life. And you mean tell me you want to end but you want to end life sentences for these individuals? It'll save us millions and millions of dollars. Okay, well, you want to end capital punishment. You want to end life sentence. Let me end the video on this then. So if Fetterman wants to end life sentences for these first degree and second degree murderers, okay, because it'll save billions of dollars, okay, billions of dollars in revenue, okay, then put them on death row then. But even putting them on death row, you guess what? You put them on death row. A lot of these people that put on death row, they're on death row for years. I mean years. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 or 3 years. I'm talking about 4, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, 15 years. And isn't that costing money too? Isn't that costing millions of dollars, perhaps billions of dollars as well? But you better off putting them on death row for first degree murder, because at least justice will be at least served in that sense, and you will still save money. This is how liberals think. This is how liberals think, man. But I just wanted to bring that out to show you just how these people think. And let me tell you something. Do I believe many of these liberal politicians are sincere? To some extent, I do. To some extent, I do. I think that they're sincere in what they believe. They sincerely think that what they believe is the right way to go. But as someone said in the ending of this video, ideas have consequences. Ideas have consequences. You put an idea in place, and if it's a law or a concept, whether you put it in place, it has consequences. And the consequences can be one or two things, good or bad. And what I see with this in Pennsylvania, if this happens to work out, and if he gets this Senate seat and pushes for this kind of law, I see bad consequences for Pennsylvania. That's what I see. But that's what the Marxists want, don't they? They want chaos. They want chaos. Yes, that's what Marxists want. They want chaos so they can bring in their Marxist communist government. That's what I want to say there. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments, comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again.